Hi there, we're back with Zoho Tips and Tricks. This is a monthly Marks Group supported webinar where every month we highlight three different tips and tricks relative to Zoho CRM and other applications. So I have 3 tips for you today. And they're diverse in nature. The first one has to do with emails. So we're going to talk about how it's easy to find an email that you're interested in seeing. You know, we get spam, we get other email that of course we're interested in, but we want to make sure our important email bubbles up. So I'm going to talk to you about a trick about doing that. That's number one. The second one has to do with workflow. And it's a different kind of way of viewing your workflow. So if you've used workflow and you've used workflow extensively, you can find that it can get pretty confusing pretty quickly. So there's a easy for me to say, workflow summary view that you can use to better organize, well, not so much organize, but just be able to read through and see what your workflow is actually doing. Get to the workflow that you need to get to if you need to make edits or anything like that. And then thirdly and lastly, we're going to talk about events and adding and modifying events through the calendar interface. Just a quick and easy way to modify your events just using a drag and drop interface on the calendar. So those are my tips today. I want to remind you, as always, if you're joining us live, that we do have a Q&A panel active. So if you have any questions and answers, there should be a Q&A panel to the right of the screen where you can submit questions. And I will try to keep an eye out for them, but I will certainly look for them at the end of this session, which should only be about less than 10, 15 minutes. So if I don't get to them right away, I will check before we sign off and address any questions that you might have. So if you're watching us live, thank you for signing in. And if you're watching us recorded, thank you for finding our videos. And we do have a whole library of Zoho Tips and Tricks videos available through our website, marksgroup.net. All right, so let's get started. Let me take us over to my system. So going into Zoho. So here, actually I'm going to back out of here and I want to show you how I got here, just in case you've never used this before. So where I am right now is in setup. So let me just go as if I signed in. So here I am on my home screen, and so we're going to talk about how we can view email, quickly get to email from your leads and contacts. So one option actually is this little yellow envelope up here. It's called the mail magnet. I don't have any in mind right now, but if I did have some in there, then they would all be listed in here. And I could click on them, open them, reply to them, set up a task related to that email, add a note to that email. So it's a quick and easy way right here in your top navigation bar to get to emails from leads and contacts. So that's a built-in feature. It's called the mail magnet, and that's there for you to use as well. So another option is it's basically an advanced setup on your email integration. So if I go to setup and under personal settings, email settings, and now I'm in here in my email settings. So if you have not integrated an external mailbox, then what you'll see here is a big screen with a big green button that says configure Zoho Mail. So, and it's a pretty straightforward wizard that you can step through and set your mail up. But if you've already done that, then you see this tells you, this drop down, you can choose which mail box you want your mail pulled into your email module from. This is your send mail as, so this is the email address you want Zoho to use when you're sending email. Then you have your sharing permissions down here, so you can set them as private, meaning that if you have other users in your system, they will not be able to see the email traffic that you send to and from clients. You also have a public option, and then you have a custom where you can decide on a case-by-case basis what emails you want to share. But what I really want to get to is down here at the bottom, advanced settings. So you can see how I have mine set up. I have the box checked, consolidate all of my customer emails inside a single place inside Zoho Mail. And you have two options. You can put them in a folder or you can attach a label to them. So I have them set up as a folder, and I gave that folder name client emails. Now, when you're setting this up, you don't already want to have this folder in your email module. This will actually set up that folder when you do that. So you click the box, you choose folder, and give the folder a name. The other option, same thing, is you can choose label and give the label a name, and then click save. And when you do that, it gets set up. So I already have mine set up, and I want to show you what it looks like. So you can see here I have the inbox, and it's got a whole bunch of stuff in there. But out of all of that, here's the email from my clients. So because I have that set up, any email that comes in from a lead or a contact, and basically does it by matching email address. So anything that comes in that matches an email address in a lead record or a contact record automatically flows into this folder that I have set up. So again, when you come in and check your email, you go right into this folder and look through all of the email that has come in from your leads and your contacts, which of course are most important now. Okay, so that is tip number one. That's mail magnet and setting up a separate email folder. Now I want to go into the workflow summary. So again, that's in setup. And where we were over in personal settings before, now we're going to be talking about some automation settings. So under automation, we're going to click workflow. And so we have a lot of workflow set up. So one way you can quickly manage it is to just, if you're trying to look for certain workflow related to a certain module, you can click that on that module and then get right to that workflow. Let's see, which is the one I wanted to show leads. So for the example, a good example for how the summary works. So a couple things I'll point out here is, first, you can filter by modules. You can then filter by status, so you can see active or inactive. So if you have a lot of workflow that you've deactivated, another good way of filtering out those. And then you can also, when you're in this view, reorder the rules. So this is pretty important if you have certain rules that are dependent on other rules that have the same triggers. You want to make sure that the ones that are dependent happen after the ones that are dependent on. So if I click reorder rules, that then gives me a drag and drop to change the order of my rules, and I click save. But what this tip is really about is the summary view. So I'm just going to draw your attention to the icons over here. This is list view, that's the default view. Summary view is this icon. So now that's going to show me kind of a different view. It gives me, I can see now my criteria, whereas before I could just really see the name. I can see if there's any field updates and what and how they're set. And then, oops, I'm going to show you that one because that one doesn't have the visible thing. And then I can do the show more, and I can see what my instant actions are. So I can see that this one is, I can see right now if the lead status comes in and it's pre-qualified, that I have an instant action and it automatically will convert. So it's a quick and easy way to look through all of your rules in your workflow instead of having to dive down into each one and then come back out to the big list. So I can filter my list on the module that I'm looking for. I can further filter out any inactives. And then I can also filter my trigger. So I can say, I want to see them all, or I know the one I'm looking for. I just want to see what's going on when a record gets created. So you can filter on the execute. And these are the options that you have for that. Okay, so that's my tip number 2. And again, really useful if you just want to look through your rules really quickly, and if you're looking for one, or just you want to get an overview of all the different rules that are in your system and what's going on. So this summary view is very useful for that. Okay, tip number 2 is finished. Lastly, tip number 3 is about modifying events using the calendar. So let's pop in the calendar. Going up to the icon, the calendar icon, which is right next to your mail magnet. When I open this, I can either pop right into a day, or I can choose day, week, month. So I'm going to choose week. And let's go ahead and put an event on the calendar. So to put an event on the calendar, I just click on the calendar, say new event, and we're just going to call this demo event for now. And we're going to leave everything in there. If you've never created events before, these are pretty much the standard modules. This is a custom, standard fields. This is a custom field that we've created. So you can create custom fields to characterize your events more deeply, but this is a quick add for the demo event. So let's just put that on there. So you can see that it's 2 to 3. So I'm going to click save. And now there's my demo event 2 to 3. Now let's say, I got to move that to 4. I can just like most calendar tools, I can drag and drop that event. And notice that the time changed. And I can also, if you have any workflow attached to that event, then that will trigger the workflow. That will trigger, like I said, that will trigger the workflow. So if you have, anything that is related to the from or to date times being updated, then all you have to do is drag and drop that tile, and that will trigger your workflow. So, all right, as promised, it's a short one. It was a little over 11 minutes. And those are the 3 tips that I had to share with you today. So hope you found them useful. And please check back next month for 3 new tips. And feel free to browse through our archive, easy for me to say, archive of videos with previous tips and tricks for Zoho CRM, as well as other CRMs. And check us out on the web, marksgroup.net. Thanks. Have a great day.